Welcome to the Wake.Show. As everybody knows, a show needs an intro. This is that intro. I am Fisher, your host. McCarty is still in Liverpool. He sent us lots of pictures and a video. So that's pretty cool. All right, good morning. Let's see. Let's get our likes and shares up and running. Hi, I'm Chris Fisher. Welcome to the Wake.Show. Chris McCarty is still out of town. He's in Liverpool. I've got some. We'll got some pictures to go through. There. I mean, I don't know the context. All I know is there's a lot of pictures of Chris with lots of different girls. So we've got that to get to today. Not only that, but also a video of him doing Obla-Di Obla-Da and telling the story about how he ended up in Liverpool to begin with. And we'll get to that coming up here in just a couple minutes. Well, actually, you know what? We could do that right now. And then we'll come back, talk about some of the stuff going on, what's happening in the fisheye news. And it'll give me opportunity to like and share. Hi, Nikki Cooper. How are you doing? We got to talk about the diet a little bit. I was out of ketosis on Saturday and ended up fasting on Saturday. I haven't lost any weight in 2 weeks, but we'll come back to it. Steve Corbin, how are you, sir? All right, so let's do this then. I want to play this video for you guys from Chris that he sent. Not just because, it's him, doing a Beatles song, which is cool, right? Him doing a cover. But I want you guys to listen to his setup because my man is in Liverpool with a British accent. He's up on stage doing his thing, and so he tells the crowd the story of how he ended up there in Liverpool. And at first, let me turn this up for you a little bit. At first, it sounds like he's speaking like a normal human being. Here we go. Well, before we get into that, I just want to say thank you once again to Single Source Insurance. And for those of you that are looking for a quote, you're looking to be treated like a human being, not like a number, then please give them a call. Call Single Source Insurance and track them down online. Get a quote, singlesourceins.com. Nikki says, hello, I'm good. I was out Saturday too, camping. I had a scoop of baked beans, 1 s'more, and 2 beers, LOL. I was proud of myself that I had 0 alcohol, and it was a Lost Fisher Brothers weekend. But we'll get back to that too. A Lost Fisher Brothers weekend. Those can go in any direction. All right, so here's Chris McCarty and a Liverpool. So again, listen to the beginning of this, and it sounds like him, I think. But then very quickly, all of a sudden, he's Paul McCartney. Here we go.
So I'll tell you a little story as to why I'm even here.
All right. So that sounds like him. And then we'll continue.
So I live in Florida, right at the beach. You hear that? Picture this. Doing the same thing, and I'm talking about 4 guys. You might have heard of them. They're from Liverpool, right?
We are going to have to talk to him about this when he gets back. Because here's the thing. I think it's adorable. I think it's hilarious that he's up on stage in Liverpool with a British accent on. But I mean, I don't think when Paul McCartney comes over here, he's sitting on a stool, putting on an American accent. So we'll have to talk to Chris about this when he gets back. I think we're going to try to Skype him into tomorrow. Steve is laughing. All right. All right. So here's what I'm going to do then. I'm going to press play so you guys can enjoy the rest of this song. And while that is playing, I'm going to share the Wake.Show. If you guys could share the Wake.Show, that's awesome. And even better is inviting friends and people that that you think would enjoy this. So invite now and enjoy this from Mr. McCarty.
So as I'm doing this song, this woman walks right in front of me to go sit down. I don't know who she is. It's a true story. I don't know who she is. And she walks by, I go, hi Mum. Right. So my mom's from London, so that's what it's all about. And so I play this song.
I think that doom, doom, doom in the background is his machine. I think that's him. He does looping and stuff like that. So I think that pounding because I don't see a drummer. There's not a drummer behind him. So I think that's him, his thing going doom, doom, doom. Just, all right, we'll get back. Sorry, I won't interrupt again.
Right, I said, get done. a man comes over and goes, hey mate, John Lennon's sister just walked right in front of you as you started playing this song. True story. So I met Julia, and I told her that one of my biggest dreams would be to come over here and play here at the Cavern Club, and she made it happen. So that's why I'm here, even here right now. Great, yeah. You gotta believe in dreams, yo. There's been a love in the marketplace. My name's a singer in a bed. There's been nobody gonna like your baby body. Every takes a bad.
And that is Chris McCarty somewhere in England, somewhere in the Liverpool area, playing to a pub there, a crowd. I don't know the details of it. He's been sending me random stuff since he's been over there. You guys want to go over some of his pictures? You want to see some of... Because he doesn't send this stuff in context like, hey, man, this is for the show, or hey, man, this is a cute girl I'm hanging out with. He just sends stuff. So do you guys want to see all the cute women he's been hanging out with over there? I see Sharon says the Beatles songs always make me happy. Thank you, Chris. Yeah, thank you, Chris McCarty. It took me a while to appreciate the Beatles. I know we talked a little bit about this last time. You know, your bands that are considered the greatest of all time. You know, those greatest of great bands out there that you just didn't get. And it's not that I didn't get the Beatles growing up. I was born in 1972. Okay, just put things in perspective there. It's just that they were... Oh, you know, there were songs, and they were catchy and stuff. But you know, if I were born in 1962, maybe, or 52, it would have had a completely different, impact on me. But otherwise, they were just, good songs like all the other songs on the radio there. And it took many, many years as an adult to go back and appreciate. And really reading, there's a book about this thick that lays out every story for every song and whatnot, and puts things in perspective. So it gave me a little. I feel a little better now. Well, how's everybody doing? Happy Monday! All right, we got some music, out there. You get your feet tapping. How's everybody feeling coming off the weekend? Do you have a productive weekend? Did you do the exact opposite and have a weekend where well, that's productive too sometimes if you're not doing anything but recharging. There's nothing wrong with that. For me, it was supposed to be a Lost Fisher Brothers weekend. This was the original plan. So what's it mean to be a Fisher boy, a Fisher brother? I don't know, man. We're a complicated lot, just like everybody else. And like a lot of people, you just need time. Some people for therapy. They'll go clear land. They got a little piece of property in Georgia or up in Tennessee or somewhere else in Florida, and you got a couple acres. You just get out there and you clear land for a weekend, and then you head back up there and over the summer and you spend some time on that land. My brother Kevin has like 4 acres. And so this will see a weekend where all the kids are away, the family's away, and the Fisher boys can go up there and just, I guess just let loose, just let loose in a safe way as possible. But Nikki, I camped, I fished, and lost no weight. LOL. Yeah, I'm not down any weight, but I'm okay because here's the thing. I was, for some reason, I was out of ketosis on Saturday, or like a trace amount. And at the same time, Eric's saying I need a shock to my system. Let's do a little bit of fasting. Hey, Brett, how you doing this morning? So I decided all I had was an avocado and a couple pieces of bacon for breakfast, and then didn't eat anything for the next 12 hours and had an avocado and some chicken. And then, started back up on Sunday. So hopefully that does a little something. I know it was only 12 hours. It's not like I fasted for 24 or anything like that. But listen, I'm not used to going more than a few hours without jamming something down my gullet. So even though I was a little down and I am a little bummed, I'm focused. I'm okay with it. I'm like, I just look at it as like, I don't know, if you ever played ball, maybe had an air. Like I was a catcher in baseball, back in Little League. Nothing fancy. Didn't make it into, the pros or anything. Hey, Natalie. Oh, yeah. We can talk about that, too. We'll talk about that. Pay it forward actions over the weekend. I gave someone a ride home from work whose car broke down. Awesome, Natalie. In that moment, Natalie, did you sit there and think, here's a chance for me to do something for somebody else? Or was it like in the process of taking somebody home that you realized, oh, wait, I'm going out of the way for somebody here. This is one of those pay it forward moments. And that is something that I thank you for bringing that back up, Natalie, because that's so awesome. I don't want us to forget that. I know it's something that Chris McCarty brought up a couple of weeks ago going into the weekend and said, hey, man, random acts weekend. So random acts. Okay. All right. I guess I have one for you, Natalie. I was working on so one of the things that we wanted to do in this Lost Fisher Boy weekend up at my brother's in Ocala was get some work done. I mean, he's got 4 acres there. He's got he still has more land to clear. He's got fence post holes to dig and all kinds of stuff that he needs done around the property. And there's some projects that we have up there too. I have an old dresser that I pulled out and I'm sitting there working on it. And it's my childhood, my babyhood dresser. I don't know if it was in the house, like they brought it home at the same time I was born, or it was right before, but it's basically as old as I am, and it's still in okay shape. So I'm sanding this thing down and see if there's a way to preserve it somehow. And so I'm working on that, and some extended families show up because they're trying to pull a broken down car off the property, right? And this is like a second cousin or however that works, something like that. And he's about 10 years older than me. And he didn't realize how difficult a task this was going to be. He thought he was going to be able to back right up to it, pull, pop, pop, pop. Well, next thing you know, we're grinding it out with him. And he's got one of those little hand winches. We're trying, and the brakes have locked up, so it's not like it's just rolling or anything like that. You're dragging this vehicle up onto, which is great, by the way. It's a 1968 Volkswagen Bug, which is that side of the family, my family. That's what they specialize in. Volkswagen, they used to have their shops. They may still have some shops, but they travel the country, some of them, still to this day, racing. They've been racing dune buggies for like 40 years or something ridiculous like that. But anyway, so my brother and I were out there, and I'm in nothing but swimming trunks out there grinding the whatever. So I had my shirt, I don't even have shoes on, and so they're sitting there, and in the process of helping out my cousin, I'm all swole because I am allergic to physical labor. I'm not even kidding. If I have some weird hive thing, And so if I exert too much energy, like say I had a hammer, I was going boom, 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 boom. Well, by the end of the day, my parts of my hand will be all blowed up. So that's what happened to this hand over here. So there you go. See, you're excited over the weekend, Fish. It doesn't have to be the gym. You're right. That is another great thing, Sharon, because this weekend too, there was some positive steps forward in my physical and mental health, because there were some moments. See, my brother has got the energy of 10 people, right? And he's always, all right, now we can do this. Now we're going to do da. And I'm like, all right, Kevin, hey, I'm going to go sit on the porch for a little bit, okay? And then he calls me Mom. So every time this weekend that my brother made one of those suggestions where normally I'd be like, oh, Kevin, man, I don't feel like hiking 5 miles to get eaten up by mosquitoes. I'm sure it's a very beautiful spot that you want to show me, you know. You're allergic. James, that's not a joke. I'm literally allergic to physical labor. I will sweat, like after yard work, my stuff swells up. I mean, even the other day, a couple weekends ago, Crash, we're at a company picnic, right? A company picnic. And I'm leaning up against a picnic table, just leaning up, you know, but it hit my back just like this. And it was hot. And just that, next thing you know, I have this big hive right across my back. So I'm allergic to, yes, I don't know, physical stuff. It's hilarious. It's awesome. So you all live in the Herbie, and I, Steve, that side of the family does. And it's not, you know how some parts of your family estate you've been better touch with than others. And even though I kind of grew up with those people, with that side of the family, they were always like extended is the good way to put it. Like, you know, you keep people that are extended, they were extended. So I don't really know them that well. And we weren't part of that culture, that lifestyle, but I'm just learning this stuff about my family as an adult that for the last, they got, we're going through dozens and dozens and dozens of trophies and all these gift cards they've won going back to the 70s that they never turned in. Like they'd go do a race somewhere and you'd win a gift card or something, but you wouldn't use it before you leave town. After yard work, my stuff swells up. Lucky wife. Now, well, maybe if I use that to do the yard work, I might be onto something here, Crash. So anyway, back to Sharon, what she was talking about. So mental health, physical health, and stuff like that. So I said yes to all the physical things that my brother wanted. Let's go dig a hole here. Let's go do this. Let's go drag that. And it was a game changer. I'm outside normally. I'm not comfortable with my shirt off. So when other people showed up, like my cousins did, I would normally, rush to put my shirt back on. I was just kind of was in this mode of like, everything's cool. There's no reason to be anxious about this or worried about that. Nobody's judging you about da-da-da. Just do you, man. And in the same time, like I said, got a lot of exercise, but not because I was, doing push-ups. It's because I'm just out doing stuff. And not only that, Sharon, but then I'm sitting there thinking about, okay, this is all well and good. You got a weekend where up at your brother's place and you're feeling alive for a second. And you're getting some real work done and some real relaxation done at the same time. Great conversation with your brother. You're not getting hammered. Not one drop of alcohol. Did I already bring that up? Because that's like unheard of for Fisher boys to get together and there's no alcohol. So that was a pretty amazing accomplishment that I'm very excited about. Maybe I shouldn't be so excited about it, but I am. Cords, how you doing? So that was a great point. Is you don't have, if you're not somebody that you can just go to the gym, just get up and just go to the gym, there's always something to be done. Always something around the house. Just get out in the yard, do something, start sweating, start moving, and then go to the next level, the next level, the next level. So feeling pretty good today, coming off of the weekend. So back at it, and hopefully after that fasting as well, it'll kick my body into another gear. Had my butter coffee this morning, literally butter coffee. If you guys don't know about this yet, it's called cake. My brother calls it caveman coffee. Other people call it bulletproof coffee, keto coffee. But it is 2 cups of coffee with a tablespoon of butter. And we got a special butter called ghee, so it melts better. And then you put some oil in it, MCT, MTC, something like that. I think it's from coconut oil. So you put a tablespoon of that in. Then about a tablespoon of heavy whip, whatever that is, heavy cream, and then a little immersion blender, and there you go. It's delightful. and fills you full of energy. But the key is not to put sugar in it, because that's when other processes start happening in your body, and that stuff starts getting turned into stored into, around your waist and other places you don't want it stored. All right, so what do you guys want to do? You want to talk about some of the issues of the day, some of the things going on, or do you want to see some of the pictures Chris have sent me from Liverpool? And James says he has a special butter from California. Want to try it? Yes, I would love to. I just can't have it on toast. I didn't even think about that. That would take coffee to another level. That'd make for a great Sunday morning. All right, I have pics if you guys want to see them. Like I said, these are not in context, so I'm not sure exactly why Chris is sending all these. I'm assuming he's just showing that he's having a good time meeting people and spreading love, spreading positivity. I don't know what kind of love he's spreading, because there's a lot of females in these pics, but we'll have to ask him about that when he gets back. I guess he is, Natalie says pics. Pictures. All right, pictures. By the way, the couple of news items that I grabbed, they're not horrible, I mean, I'm not trying to delve into all the fears of the day. Just fisheye news, what catches my eye. So we'll dive into a couple of stories here in a couple minutes. But ladies and gentlemen, together, let's go through Chris McCarty's photo album that he sent us. I bought carb-free bread online. It's okay, but better toasted. Ooh, okay. All right. Yeah, we're looking into that. I think I told you we picked up almond butter almond flour and coconut flour. So we're going to try to bake some stuff. There's some meatballs, too, I've been eyeballing that you need some of that flour for, and it looks great. Sharon says, this is just talking about the dieting and exercise. The way I started swimming was because I thought about what I really liked to do when I was young. And every time we went on vacation, I was in the pool the whole time. Now I get to swim every single day. Huh. I had a very similar thought yesterday because my brother has a pool as well. And I'm in the pool swimming, and I feel my ligaments stretching out. I feel things like popping, but in a good way. Like you're just sitting there doing this, and I feel like I'm working things out. My muscles are getting long. I don't know. But it's interesting you bring that up, because I was the same way as a kid, always in the pool. My mom used to call me, our parents used to call me Little Shamu. As before I was fat. After I became fat, they stopped calling me that out of respect, I think. Anyway, let's get back to Chris's pictures. Again, no context. I don't know who these people are. Let's just have some fun. Should we play the shame game with these people? Who looks shady? Who doesn't look shady, these pictures? Here we go. There's Chris McCarty with 3 Brits, maybe? Oh, that is Chris McCarty with, her name is Julia. That is John Lennon's sister right there. And that's how Chris ended up in Liverpool to begin with. As you heard him tell the story at the beginning of the show today. He was playing on the beach, and she walked by, and next thing you know, here we go. Oh, I'm going backwards now. By the way, I'd play that video for you, but the audio sucks. The audio's out. Oh, hello. Well, hello there. So, out spreading love around the world. Well, hello, late. What's your name? Maybe we should all just guess. We should all guess what their names are. She's got an exotic name. Phil. No, probably not Phil. Hey, Susan. All right. Next. All right, this little it's met her on the train, or met her somewhere else and they ended up on the train. Up next, this gentleman here. Couple of deuces. Hi, I'm Chris McCarty. I'm from America. I'm just taking random pictures. Would you like to be in one? Sure. By the way, how great was that accent? You're welcome. That's a great pic. Well, hello, ladies. Look at the woman there on the left. She's like, what the hell? Where am I looking? What the hell's going on here? Next. I told you he sent me a lot of pictures. And I haven't looked at, by the way, I haven't looked at them all. So I probably should have skimmed them all just to make sure there's nothing that's about to pop up that shouldn't pop up. Okay, respectable. And I'm sure he's going to have stories around all of this once he gets back. So he texted me this morning. Man, Steve, like Steve says, keep it pimping. Way to go. Oh, Julie, how are you, Julie? Julie, by the way, I don't know if you've tuned in at all before, but Chris McCarty goes, she's the one that introduced me to Chris McCarty. If it weren't for Julie Dangler, who knows how fate would have played out, but it is because of her that I went to see him at Push Ultra Lounge one night, and the rest, as they say, is history. And then he and I have been talking about doing a show for 4 years now, and here we are. And you're right, man. Oh, look at that positive energy. Look at that smile, that Chris McCarty smile. See, and they all look like, and all the women, those look like genuine smiles. It doesn't look like they've been roped into anything. They look like they're enjoying the moment.
Come on, y'all. What you was upon carries to your heart. When I say what?
I can't wait to go back. Whoa, hey, hi, me.
Tell me why.
I can't wait to go back to the YouTube analytics after the show today. A little inside baseball here. The YouTube analytics and see how many times, if any, we've been flagged for copyrighted material today. Hey, Adam.
Come on, y'all.
All right. And now, let's see, has he made his way behind the bar or the kitchen? Where is he now? Probably should have waited until he brought these. Okay, this must be later in the night. The faces have gotten a little bit crazier. This looks like it might be more like 2 o'clock in the morning. He is fun. Look at that man just standing in front of him with his arms crossed. And the other man just dancing away. How cool would it be to have talent? Adam's watching from 35,000 feet over Lake Tahoe. That is amazing. The times we live in. Another opportunity to focus on all the cool stuff that we have going on during our time. So will your show go worldwide with followers after this trip? I bet you it does. I guarantee you he's over there talking about this show. Well, I know that's what I do, Steve. When I'm out and I get a conversation about this new show, is I'll ask them, I'll be like, hey man, now pull out your phone, and I'll grab their phone and I'll go right, hit like, follow, and go. And you see this part over here says invite your friends. You go and invite all your friends. Let them know about the show. The guy with his arms crossed is killing me. Oh, I know. He just did. He's like, I don't want to have a good time. But the other guy next to him, Natalie's making up for it. You got both extremes. One guy who's in the moment, and another guy that looks like he's getting ready to leap at him. I know, James. It looks like he's waiting for this song to end so he just walk up and punch him. Eric, how you doing, buddy? That has been a long time. Eric, I hope all is well. It's good to see your name.
Let's go.
All right, Chris McCarty, Liverpool. Let's see what else he has for us. Oh, this was the last picture he sent. And that was, I'm not sure exactly what this is here, but that is Chris, obviously across the pond, and everybody else is back over here. I don't know what that means, but there you go. We all just went through Chris's his photo, whatever. All right. You guys want to talk about a couple of things? Sure, why not? First up, I don't know if you guys have gotten caught. Guy in the white is getting down. We should Skype in the drunk guy singing and dancing. He is McCarty's new fan club president. No kidding. And now we're going to try to Skype in McCarty tomorrow if he's available. Water. And thank you so much to Single Source Insurance for the first, for the love. Oh, yeah. So James says he missed me Saturday night. James, I'm glad I wasn't there. I was having an amazingly cool time, and it looks like you guys had a rager. And although I've been a part of plenty of ragers and had amazing times, usually I don't remember all of them, or the entire night. And I'm just glad I wasn't there because I heard that you guys polished off a huge bottle of Jameson at Boulevard Burgers with Jesse Cage and Crystal and my wife and Charles and Morgan and everybody else. Steve I saw was there, but I'm this is how you know you've gotten a little older, right? That I was sitting there looking at my brother, not having a drop of alcohol this weekend, going, dude, I had the best time, chilled out, got some work done, got some exercise, I feel good. And I'm looking at those pictures, and Lauren's telling me the stories of things transpired, and I'm going, man, it sounds like you guys had a blast. I'm so happy I wasn't there. So it's one of those, and I know that I'm old now. I know that I'm officially. How about this? I'm officially not young. I'm getting ready to turn 46 in a couple weeks. I guess this is where the line was drawn. Somewhere in this time frame is where the line. I'm not young, and I don't want to be. People are like, oh man, I wish I was. Yeah, okay, yeah. There's waking up and there's being random aches is not fun, but I don't want to go back to those days, man. Woof. I'm good. I'm still amazed that you and your brother didn't drink. I am too. It is, well, no. My brother had a couple beers. Now, I will say something was removed from the equation that had it been there, who knows what would have happened. So this was supposed to be a Fisher Brother weekend with all four brothers, right? And that's when our superpowers come together, and it's something. Well, one brother is out of town because of a wedding, so he couldn't be there. Well, then the other brother ended up not being able to be there, so he was there last weekend. Last weekend when he was there, he polished off the Jameson that would have been there this weekend. So that took one huge variable. And other than that, all my brother had was like Bush Light or some Natty Light or something like that. And I'm not going to put those carbs in my body, so I was like, all right, I'm cool. I got my medicine. I'm good. I'll just stick with that. Yeah, and I was happy all weekend. All right, so just a couple of things in Fisheye News today. That's what I'm calling it, I think. And instead of stuff you should know, for those of you that go back to the beginning, and this is something that we dropped a month or two ago. By this time of day, you already know the stuff you should know the day. You've listened to your morning radio. You've got up and you had the TV on the background while you're getting ready or whatever it is. And you flip through your phone, and so you know the headlines of the day. So I don't think it's my duty then at 11:30, 11:45 to or I don't think it's as necessary for me to chime in and go, here's all the stuff you should know for today. You've been up for a few hours, So we'll turn to something else. The stuff that catches my eye that I want to talk about for various reasons, and we'll just call it Fisheye News, whatever catches Fisher's eye. And that is, we are now into week 3 of this Thai cave operation. It's, we're sitting here cheering a week ago because they found the kids, and you're like, all right, they found them. Well, zip, zap, zop, and we'll get them right out of there. Well, there's already been one death, and that was not any of the kids, but of a Navy SEAL that tried to go in there and ran out of oxygen. They've pulled out a total of 5. Where are we now? Are we at 5 or are we at 8? 4 more boys. Did they get 4 yesterday and then bring out another 4 today, or am I mixing up? So anyway, they've started the process. It is not easy. I know Sharon was like, why don't you just pump the water out? They've been pumping the water out. They're in the middle of their torrential rain season. They say they've had a blessing over the past couple of days because there's been a respite in the weather. And otherwise, I guess the clock is ticking. Very dramatic. All right, so 5 boys are out of the cave. Is what I'm most happy about. Okay, so the 5 kids are out, but they still have 7 more kids, right, to go. And it's not easy because they were, however they got lost in this cave or got trapped in this cave, some floods came, and they're 2 miles deep into this thing. Well, over a mile of their journey, from what I understand, out is now flooded and underwater. So these kids have to scuba dive. They're hooking them up to these lines, and scuba divers are assisting them and bringing them out. But it's a very slow and difficult process. Hey, Eric, by the way, thank you so much. I would love, man, I hope I remember. Let me write. Because Eric, Eric Remmel is somebody else that I need, I have to give a lot of thanks to, because part of this journey that led me to here was the experience that I got working with him and his network. So I'd love to have him on the show and talk a little bit more about where he is these days and what he's learned in this space when it comes to connecting with audiences and delivering content and, this new era of infotainment and so on and so forth. But Eric, I hope things are going well with you. Life Improvement Radio is the name, or if it's still, I don't even know if he's still doing that or not. Life Improvement Radio is the name of his network. So anyway, so that's the latest of these kids coming out. I think 9 more plus their coach. Yeah, it was 12 total down. Whatever, something like that. So they've got more kids to go after there. Oh, and the last thing that I saw this morning before leaving the house is that there is a window on this, that they don't just have plenty of time to get these kids out of here. I guess the window is closing because the rains are not going to stop for months. So they have this little window right now where it's kind of slowed down, but they got to get them out of there before, I guess, that whole system floods. That whole cave system floods. Very, very dramatic real-time stuff happening halfway around the world. A couple other things that I pulled out today. One has to do with marijuana, cannabis, and a judge's rule. I think this is going to get overturned. This is why I'm bringing this up. Judge rules that First Church of Cannabis cannot use marijuana as a holy sacrament. I wonder if this is something that they fight and take all the way to the Supreme Court, which I guess wouldn't matter now because we have conservatives that run or will be having conservatives running the Supreme Court. So I don't know, but you're surprised. You make some assumptions on how some of these judges are going to go, vote, and man, a lot of times it's right down party lines, which then makes me question them too. Like, you're supposed to be independent-minded, and you think nothing of the or just about the Constitution, but somehow you always seem to, 90% of the time, your decisions come down on the same side as the party that you also are a part of. How does that? So we have 9 people that can interpret this one document 9 different ways, but they always seem to align with the ways of their party. So is anybody interpreting anything, or do you just use your high IQ and your experience to sell the bullshit of the people on your side? I don't know. I don't know much about, and I may be, out of line here. I'm just, as an ignorant American, I'm just curious on how this stuff works, because you would think that their opinions would have nothing to do with their parties. So anyway, the First Church of Cannabis has lost its bid to use Indiana's religious freedom law as a defense for smoking marijuana as part of its religious ceremonies. In the ruling handed down on Friday, the Marion County Superior Court judge rejected the church argument that Indiana's Religious Freedom Restoration Act allows for a religious exemption from state and federal prohibitions of marijuana. Among other reasons for her decision, Lynch said such an exemption would likely make this church a target for thieves. You can't do that. You can't do that. Like, what a stupid ruling. This is going to get fought. Because when you start throwing these slippery slope arguments out there, those aren't even fucking real. Excuse my language. Sorry. This was supposed to be a radio rules plus shit only show. I see Eric Remmel's name up there, and all of a sudden the old uncensored rules start coming back into my head. Besides, if we then thieves, then gangs, then and drug dealers, you can't. If that's the reason that you're striking this down, lady, then Your Honor, then this is going to get overturned. Quote, permitting exceptions to Indiana's law. I think this is probably something that will end up going to the top, and don't be surprised if in the end it is something that is allowed, because what's the difference between that and wine? Yeah, do thieves and drunks start flooding church on Sunday? Come on, lady, settle down. You know how I get when it comes to entering into Trump category, Trump territory, because there's always plenty to talk about. Everybody has their side, their view, and the headline coming from Bay News 9 is suspense builds. Suspense ahead of President Trump's Supreme Court announcement. Seems like they've narrowed it down to 4. It'll likely be okay. So here's my thought on this. For those of you that are a lot of the headlines are centering around Roe versus Wade, and that if he picks the wrong person or if he picks the right person, I guess how you look at it, then all of a sudden the court's going to re-look at Roe v. Wade and overturn that, and abortion will be illegal again in this country. For those of you that have a fear of that happening, I almost want to say the F word right now. In the context of settle the F down. For those of you that are excited that you think it's going to happen, you too, settle the F down. They're not revisiting Roe v. Wade. It's not going to happen. Now, there are other things that could come up in, whatever, in this whole discussion about abortion here in America, yes, but there's no revisiting Roe v. Wade. Right, Nick, it's not going to be overturned. And you're right, that's just my opinion. JMO, MFers, JMO, MF. Does the politics of this bother me? Of course. That's why we try not to talk about politics, because it'll do nothing but make you angry to watch the BS on both sides, the hypocrisy, the constant hypocrisy and the constant spinning and the pivoting. Oh, when we get on a subject we don't want to talk about, let's throw in a couple of words and see if we can divert that conversation 180 degrees. How are you guys feeling about the next week? See, now we are going to get in the Trump. Maybe I shouldn't throw that out there. Nikki, you and I can talk for a second. And to give you guys some insight for those of you just joining us for this, Nikki is a Trump supporter, but she is not a zealot, and she is not somebody who loves everything that comes out of his mouth. There's plenty of things that he tweets and says that she just shakes her head at, but other than that, she is a passionate supporter. Everybody pay attention over the next week and a half. He's on a trip right now, and in recent months, he has been downplaying our allies and putting distance between us and our allies, levying tariffs on our allies, while it seems like he's cozying up to the dictators of the world. So this is going to be a foreign policy kind of a jaunt, a marathon over the next week, which is going to culminate in Helsinki is that next Monday? Something like that. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Monday, I think. Where he's going to have this one-on-one meeting with Vladimir Putin. Beautiful, Steve. Beautiful. Steve says, I don't mind talking about politics as long as everyone agrees with me. Yeah. And it just made me think of something, too. What Bo Snerdley said, for those of you that have listened to Rush Limbaugh in the past, that is his executive producer. His name is James Golden. And James said something to Chris and I concerning the show. And it was something to the effect of, I don't give an F what your politics are. And he goes, what is your expertise? What is your... So when you start talking about the X's and O's of politics, you are two gentlemen that don't know anything about politics. You might have your opinions on the issues of the day, but you know nothing about the politics of the day. So he recommended, he's like, Chris, because we're both named Chris. Chris. He goes, you're a singer-songwriter. Play music. Talk about music. I want to hear your opinions on music. Chris Fisher, talking to me. You were a radio DJ and music formats for 25 years. Tell me stories about the musicians you've met. Tell me stuff about music I don't know. Talk about entertainment. That's what you guys know. Stay in your lane. And I'm like, yes, but I want to affect the world. I want to change things. And I'm nervous about the politics of the day. So he does have a point with that, right? And that's why I'm not sitting here pounding my fist and going, this is what's going on, and this is what's wrong, and da-da-da. I do it as a citizen. I do it as not just an American citizen, but a citizen of the planet as well, and as a human. And so I don't mind your politics. You guys do a great job. Nikki and Steve and James and Sharon, you guys do a great job of once we divert into the politics realm, you guys get your points out there, but you're respectful to each other, and I really appreciate. Maybe we should do a little something and kind of, maybe we'll cause fake little battles here. I'll ask you guys to be trolls, really, and then we'll see what kind of numbers we get, what kind of viewers. Man, you have to watch the Wake.Show. Those people go after each other in the comment section the entire time. So thank you for inviting your friends to be a part of the conversation. All right, so Nikki, I'll keep all my fears to myself for now, but this next week is going to be a very interesting week. A lot of there are those who feel like the president is some kind of a genius, and everything that we are seeing is there's some bigger game afoot that we are not privy to. And he's got this under control. There are others that feel like it's not that. And then Nikki, I think you're probably more in the category of don't get too focused on it because you don't believe that we get all the information, that we just get enough information to scare us by the media, and that's it. So, all right, we'll move on then. We'll see how he does overseas and what happens with the Putin meeting. But Nikki, I don't know. I don't know, Nikki. And the last thing I have is something very cool. The last story, and it comes out of Pasco, believe it or not. Right? No, this is not an effed up story. I know I said Pasco County, Florida, but and normally if we're going to Pasco County for a story, well, it's going to be a doozy. Oh, this is somewhat of a doozy. It's just it's a positive doozy. And it says it all right there in the headline. Pasco first responders finish laying sod after man suffers heart attack. How great is this? Or is there going to be some cynical people go, wow, we're wasting that taxpayers' dollar. All right, turn your attention to the screen here, from WFLA.com, and you'll see a picture there. Look at that. How awesome. How awesome is that? Going above and beyond. A group of firefighters and paramedics in Pasco are being praised for going beyond the call of duty. And Natalie, this goes to what you were talking about there in the beginning of the show, too. What'd you do over the weekend? How'd you pay it forward over the weekend? How did you... random act of kindness. All right, we're going to come back to this too, because I'm not done with you people. We're on separate pages on something. I don't know if I can get you on the same page, but I do feel compelled to try again. And that has to do with the conversation of when you let somebody in when you're driving, right? You let somebody in and they don't wave to say thank you, right? Or when you hold a door open and they don't wave to say thank you. I'm not letting this go. I know we've talked about it, but I really want you to explore this a little bit better, more, because I could be wrong, but I think you're doing things, it seems, for all the wrong reasons. And I know I've seen the arguments in the comment section about no, there's a social contract. There's an interaction between people, and in a civilized society, there are certain things that you have to do. And if those things aren't there, then it's going to fall apart. For instance, those moments when you hold up a door for a person, even if you're on the phone, give them a nod, like a little thank you, even if you can't say thank you. But if you don't acknowledge them, then there's a breakdown in our society there. I don't know. I think, man, if you're just thinking about constantly doing for others, I mean, listen, I know that's not plausible. That's being idealistic. But if you kind of have that mindset, then you're opening doors all the time for people, and it's not even registering. You don't even think about it. You just do it, and the person's already. You don't even, like, for me, it doesn't even register whether they say thank you or they don't say thank you. If I'm in traffic and I let somebody, we're doing that little thing, and I let somebody in, and they don't wave at me, I don't go, "Hey, mother effer, I didn't have to let you in, son of a bitch." No, it doesn't even register. That moment doesn't register because I'm thinking, okay, here's a moment where I can alleviate a little bit of stress with somebody else's life. Boop. I slide back a little bit. You get in. Boop. We're off to the races. I'm not even thinking about you. I forgot about the moment before it even ended. So you guys can argue all you want. But I really think that for those who want to argue, you really need to spend some time in your own head. Because I feel like you're being a nice person for all the wrong. Or maybe that's why we do it. Is because not everybody is like that, so that's why you make up these rules to kind of herd, to help people be more cordial. I don't know. So anyway, back to the firefighters in Pasco County. Gene Work was laying sod in his yard in Pasco County over the weekend when he started experiencing symptoms of a heart attack, with his wife Melissa said on Facebook. He had already been worried about the project as our HOA date to fine us a huge amount was getting closer. Okay, so his back's up against the wall. He needs to get this yard done or the HOA is going to start effing him. As Work faded in and out of consciousness, he was begging his wife to figure out a way to lay down the sod because he didn't want it to go to waste and die. There's a parallel here with the society we live in right now. It's more important that you get your yard looking exactly the way we want it, and it's got to be between this high and this high, or you're not a good citizen. And you get it done or die. We don't care. Work was rushed to the hospital with his wife by his side while his brother-in-law, who witnessed the heart attack, stayed behind to finish the project. As his brother-in-law was laying down the sod, he heard the distant rumble of huge trucks on the road. Sounds like fish. Oh, wait. So, hey, everybody. Sorry about that. I thought there we go. How about that? He turned around and saw the fire truck and ambulance had come back. He was confused and thought they were coming to check on him. Before he knew it, 7 firefighters and paramedics jumped out of the vehicle, rolled up their sleeves, and got to work. Quote, they came back. They saved his life, dropped him off, then cared enough to save our grass. They didn't know that my husband pawned his favorite gun to pay for the sod and that he thought he was going to die. They didn't know all we've been through with this little family, Melissa wrote, adding that she... Yes, I'm tearing up. Sorry. Sorry, you know me. I'm a big P word. Hey, hon. As my wife joins. Let's see here. They didn't know, adding she also was about to fight for her life fight for her life for a bone marrow transplant the next month. Quote, "Thank you, Melissa Ann, for sharing this touching moment. Thank you to the crew of Station 10 for stepping up to help, and everyone at PCFR hopes that Jean makes a speedy recovery." How cool is that? And you can't, and I hope there's no cynicism. I hope you don't read one line of cynicism into that at all. Because you know what? They can't do that every time to every person. That was one of those spontaneous moments. And I'm sure, and they didn't have another call afterwards, and they felt compelled to go back and help that guy, lay down the rest of the sod, which is pretty beautiful. All right. How you feel about that? How you feel after that one? Feeling pretty good? Feeling pretty good about humanity? Because, some people feel like the times that we're in are those exact opposite times. That if you don't have, if there's not a quid pro quo, if you don't have something for them, people aren't going to do something for you. And we see over and over that's not the case. How many of you guys, did you ever read the book Jennifer Government? Jennifer Government. It's set in a not too distant future, a not too distant future, a near future. And it's at a time where basically it's just like capitalism is the only thing. So, like, instead of there being the United States of America, in countries like United States of America or Australia, and I can't remember the names of them, it's like the United States of Nike, and I think Australia is the NRA. So if you work for whoever you work for, you take that as your last name. So Jennifer works for the government. Now, the government is a very small entity. It doesn't have a lot of power, and everything has been privatized, including first responder services. So when they pull up to a scene, like these firefighters here, they pull up to a scene, they scan you, and if you don't have the proper insurance or whatever it is they need to pay for this, then you're going to lay there and die. It doesn't matter. Sorry. If you can't pay for the services, you get no services. Well, that's a dystopian future, right? This is the exact opposite. These are people going out of their way for people just because. They didn't go out of their way for that person because that person lived in a really nice house and they knew he had a lot of nice things. And maybe if I did something for this person, I can get to know him a little better, and get some of those nice things for myself. These are firefighters, first responders. They get love sometimes, and they get shit on other times. It's hot as hell. They did their job. They took a man to the hospital who otherwise might have laid there and died. They more than did their job. They saved the man's life. And then they went back to his house in the summer sun and helped the man lay his sod so then that the HOA wouldn't come over the top of him, because they don't give a shit. They don't care that he's in the hospital. Looks like they've already been battling with this guy, and they want either their money, their fines, or they want that sod to look a certain way. So they went back to the man's house so that sod wouldn't get ruined while he's healing from a heart attack, and laid the sod. Awesome. All right. This is an emotional Monday. I got to keep a calendar in front of me. Those, because I don't know do I cry more on a Monday or a Friday. I don't cry. My eyes get sweaty. That's all it is. All right. And it's too bad Chris isn't here, Sharon. He could play us out with Imagine, but he's not. So let's wrap things up. Thank you so much for being part of the Wake.Show again today. I really appreciate it. Chris, like I said, is still in Liverpool. You can follow him at Chris McCarty Music on Facebook, at Chris McCarty Music. And he will be back. I guess he's flying back in on Wednesday, but won't be here in time for the show. So I think we're going to try to Skype him in tomorrow and see how well that works, and do the show with him there. And hear stories. Well, I'll have to pull back up all these pictures of all these people he's with, and get the stories from him. So well, have a great rest of your Monday. I got some food prepping to do when I get home, and we will talk to you tomorrow. Thank you so much for being a part of the Wake.Show, and have a great day.